What if I told you that the image of Jesus we see today might not be real? For centuries, we have been shown a version of Jesus that may not match history. Ancient texts, lost records, and forgotten art tell a different story, one that has been hidden from us. Who changed history, and why? Stay with me till the end of this video, because what you're about to learn will challenge everything you thought you knew. Close your eyes for a moment and picture Jesus. What do you see? A man with fair skin, soft brown hair, and piercing blue eyes. This is the image we've been shown for centuries, on church walls, in paintings, in movies. It feels familiar, almost sacred. But what if I told you this image is not based on history, but on art, power, and politics? For centuries, great artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo painted Jesus in a way that fit the European world they lived in. Their paintings spread across the world, shaping our beliefs without question. But Jesus wasn't born in Europe. He was born in the Middle East, in a land of sun and sand, among people with darker skin. So why does the world still see him differently? This isn't just about art. It's about influence. A specific image of Jesus was chosen, promoted, and protected. A version that made him look less like the people of his time and more like the rulers of later centuries. Why? To control faith? To rewrite history? Or to hide something deeper? The truth is hidden in lost records, ancient paintings, and buried stories that few dare to talk about. And today, we are going to open that door. We are going to go beyond what we were told, beyond what we were shown, and search for the Jesus that history forgot. Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you may never see him the same way again. If the image of Jesus we know today isn't historically accurate, then what did he really look like? The answer isn't just hidden, it was intentionally buried. Let's go back 2,000 years to the land where Jesus walked. He wasn't born in Rome or Greece. He was born in Bethlehem, in the heart of the Middle East, a region where the sun paints the skin with deeper tones, where the people of his time had darker complexions, strong features, and thick, curly hair. The idea of a fair-skinned, blue-eyed Jesus doesn't match the people who lived around him. So where did that image come from? Ancient texts give us clues. Ethiopian and early Jewish writings describe him differently, closer to the people of the land. Even early Christian communities in Africa and the Middle East portrayed Jesus with features that didn't resemble the European image we see today. The first paintings of Jesus, found in the catacombs of Rome and the churches of Ethiopia, show him with darker skin, woolly hair, and strong Semitic features. So what happened? How did history change? The Roman and Greek empires had power, not just over land, but over narratives. As Christianity spread, so did their influence. They rebranded Jesus, making him look more like their own rulers and less like the people he actually lived among. This wasn't just an artistic choice, it was a rewriting of history. And if they changed his appearance, what else did they change? We're only scratching the surface. The deeper we go, the more we uncover. Keep watching, because the real story of Jesus is even more shocking than you can imagine. The hidden truth in ancient art and texts. 400 words, emotionally engaging and deeply connected to previous section. If ancient history and early Christian communities depicted Jesus differently, why don't we see those images today? What happened to the truth? Who erased it? And why? Let's step back in time. The first followers of Jesus lived in the Middle East and North Africa. They painted images of him in their churches and carved his likeness into the walls of hidden worship places. In the oldest Christian communities of Ethiopia, Egypt, and Syria, Jesus was not the fair-skinned figure we see today. He was portrayed with dark skin, strong Semitic features, and curly woolly hair, matching the people of the region. One of the earliest known paintings of Jesus, found in an Egyptian church, shows a man with brown skin and deep, piercing eyes. The Coptic Christians of Egypt, some of the earliest followers of Christ, depicted him in a way that reflected their own people. A Middle Eastern man, not a European one. In Ethiopia, where Christianity has existed for nearly 2,000 years, ancient icons and frescoes reveal the same truth. A Jesus with darker skin, wrapped in traditional robes, standing among people who looked just like him. So why have these images been hidden from the world? Why don't we see them in churches today? The answer lies in power. When Christianity spread into Europe, religious leaders and rulers realized something. The image of Jesus wasn't just spiritual, it was political. The way he looked shaped the way people saw themselves. A darker-skinned Jesus, a Middle Eastern Jesus, would have meant something different in a world dominated by European rulers. So they changed him. The paintings were replaced. The statues were repainted. The image of Jesus was rebranded into something that fit the New World Order. And as centuries passed, the original depictions were forgotten, buried in the shadows of history. But they are still there. In the ancient churches of Africa, in hidden texts, in the whispers of scholars who dare to question the official story. So ask yourself, if history could change something as sacred as the face of Jesus, what else have we been told that isn't true? Stay with me, because we are about to go even deeper. The truth is more shocking than you think. If history could change something as sacred as the face of Jesus, then the question becomes, who changed it and why? The truth is unsettling. Jesus' original image wasn't erased by accident. It was a calculated move, a decision made not by artists, but by rulers, emperors, and religious leaders who understood one powerful reality. Faith shapes nations, and images shape faith. Let's go back to 325 AD, a time when the Roman Empire was struggling to control a divided world. Christianity was spreading fast, but it wasn't yet unified. Different groups had different beliefs, different teachings, and different depictions of Jesus. Emperor Constantine saw an opportunity, not just to unite Christianity, but to use it as a tool of power. At the Council of Nicaea, Christian leaders gathered under Constantine's command to create a standardized version of the faith. They decided which teachings were acceptable, which books would be included in the Bible, and most importantly, how Jesus should be perceived. They needed a universal symbol, an image that would bring order and strengthen Rome's rule. But there was a problem. The Jesus of history, a Middle Eastern man with dark skin, did not fit the empire's vision of dominance. The ruling class of Rome, and later Europe, did not want people to see a savior who looked like the oppressed, the poor, or the conquered. They needed him to resemble power. So slowly, over centuries, the transformation began. Religious art changed. Jesus became fair-skinned, his hair lightened, his features softened. This wasn't just a new artistic style, it was a political weapon. A whitewashed Jesus justified colonial expansion, slavery, and the European dominance over lands where Christianity originally flourished. The shift didn't stop with paintings. Churches removed older depictions. Scriptures that challenged this new image were suppressed, and over time, the world forgot. People accepted what they were shown, without questioning what had been lost. But the truth still exists, hidden in ancient catacombs, lost scriptures, and untouched corners of the world where history refused to be erased. And if they could alter Jesus' image, what else could they have changed? Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the more disturbing the truth becomes. If powerful rulers could change the image of Jesus, what else did they rewrite? Where did the real story of Jesus survive? The answer lies in the lands where Christianity was born, Africa and the Middle East. Before Christianity became the dominant religion of Rome, before European kings claimed to own the faith, it was a religion of the poor, the oppressed, and the forgotten. It spread in places where people had suffered under empires, in Egypt, in Ethiopia, in Palestine, in lands where people shared Jesus' skin, his struggles, and his story. Let's start with Ethiopia, a country where Christianity took root as early as the 1st century. Long before Rome embraced Christianity, Ethiopia's kings and scholars had already written about Jesus, not as a European-looking man, but as someone who resembled them. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the world's oldest Christian communities, still holds manuscripts, paintings, and traditions that show Jesus with dark skin, curly hair, and Middle Eastern features. But Ethiopia wasn't alone. Egypt, too, was a center of early Christianity. The Coptic Christians, one of the oldest Christian groups in the world, preserved images of Jesus that look very different from what we see in Western churches today. In ancient Egyptian monasteries, we can still find icons of Jesus with brown skin, wearing the robes of the Middle East, standing among people who looked just like him. And then there's Palestine, the land where Jesus was born, walked, and preached. The Jewish people of his time didn't have European features. They had olive and brown skin, dark curly hair, and strong Semitic features. Historical records describe people from this region as looking nothing like the pale, soft-skinned figure seen in modern Christian art. So why don't we hear about these depictions? Why aren't they shown in history books? Because they don't fit the version of history that powerful nations wanted the world to believe. A black or Middle Eastern Jesus connected to Africa and ancient Judaism? That would have changed everything. That would have empowered people who were meant to stay silent. But history has a way of revealing itself. In the hidden churches of Africa, in the lost manuscripts of the Middle East, and in the faces of the people who still hold on to the truth, the real Jesus lives on. And if his image was changed, what about his teachings? What if there's more that has been erased? Stay with me. Because the deeper we go, the more the truth refuses to stay buried. We have traveled through history, uncovering secrets hidden in ancient texts, lost paintings, and forgotten lands. We have seen how the image of Jesus was reshaped, transformed from a Middle Eastern man into a European figure, not by truth, but by power. But now comes the biggest question of all. Because this is not just about history. This is about truth, identity, and the way the world has been shaped around us. For centuries, people have been told what to believe. They have been shown images that define faith, culture, and even power. But when you strip away the layers of control, when you go back to the origins, you realize something shocking. Faith was never meant to be about power. It was meant to be about truth. Jesus was not born in a European palace. He was born in a land of struggle, among people who faced oppression. His followers were not kings and emperors. They were the poor, the broken, and the outcasts. His teachings were about breaking chains, challenging authority, and standing for justice. But when rulers realized that faith had power, they hijacked it. They rewrote it. They transformed the image of a man who walked among the oppressed into a symbol of those in control. And for centuries, millions followed without questioning, without realizing that the truth had been hidden in plain sight. So, now that you know this, how does it change the way you see history? If something as sacred as the image of Jesus could be rewritten, what else has been manipulated? What other stories, cultures, and truths have been erased or altered to serve the powerful? This video was not just about uncovering the past. It was about awakening something inside you. The curiosity, the courage, and the power to question everything. History belongs to those who seek the truth. And today, you have taken a step closer to it. But this is just the beginning. Share this knowledge. Let others see the truth that has been buried for centuries. Comment below. What are your thoughts? What do you believe now? Let's start a conversation that challenges everything we were told. Like this video. The more people engage, the more these hidden truths can reach the world. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel. This is just one story. There are many more waiting to be uncovered. Many more lies to be questioned. Many more truths to be revealed. This journey doesn't end here. Stay curious. Stay questioning. Stay seeking. Because history is not just what we are told. It's what we choose to discover. See you in the next video.